Finding myself on the way back to me. And honestly, God knows it hurts.
Hello, beautiful peepan. I just wanted to have, well, first of all, when you have to stop because you're like, where am I going? I don't know. I just lost track. Welcome to Back to Me, where I am getting back to me and consciously making that decision in my life. We just keep going. Where I am also hoping and feeling very blessed and privileged to guide you to get back to yourself as well through my own personal experiences and the work that I do, literally my job, which we'll talk about. Well, I'm traditionally a psychotherapist, but I'm also getting into doing some more spiritual practices, which I think I'll definitely make a video on that eventually as well, and put out more information on that too. But when I say do my work that I do, it's part of my work to guide people. And I'm blessed with that privilege. And as time goes on, that privilege has been shifting to being something more than just mental health based and emotional based. It's spiritual as well. And to me, they go together. It's called full body healing, right? Complete wellness. It's not just the mind, right? So that beautiful aspect there. But welcome to today. Happy Sunday. Sunday fun day. Well, Sunday blessed day. We're gonna talk about a show that inspired me to make this video. So I'm really, really interested in talking about this show today. And I'm excited for it. So every now and then you'll hear me talk about shows sometimes, if it comes to me that I think it's really important to talk about, that is. So there was a show, I'm also still battling through some allergies right now. You'll notice that I'm battling through some allergies, so if every now and then I sneeze, or bear with me. This specific show aired on Netflix actually a couple weeks back. Wasn't even that long ago, but I think it's like one of those things where they're doing like, oh, the show's airing for a limited time, and and so hurry up and watch it, right? Something about the show piqued my interest, so I did hurry up and watch it. And the show's called Adolescence. It's a Netflix show, okay? And if you know what adolescence means, it's about teens. It's about teenagers. The show definitely had like a lot of like heavy sadness in it, which there's aspects to that I mean I appreciate, because let's just jump right into it. Being a teenager is incredibly complicated, and I think it's been incredibly complicated for damn near all of us, for multiple reasons. It's different for everyone why it would be complicated, but one of the things that I want to put out there for people to understand, because I feel like sometimes as adults we forget that, or we have this thought, because for me growing up and my culture and background and everything, like, it was like, kids cannot stress, so what you talking about? You ain't talking about nothing, because you ain't stressing, because you ain't paying no bill, you ain't gotta go to work, you ain't gotta put a fun time on yet, and you ain't got no kids, because you is the kid, so what are you stressing about? And it was like, everything! I'm talking about everything. Everything is making me stressed. You are making me stressed because you're stressed. I'm sad because you're sad. I'm upset because, you know what, you have an anger problem. And now I have an anger problem. So I'm going to get into that layer of what the hell I'm talking about right there. Like, why was I so stressed, right? But as a kid, we forget, like, as adults, we forget that actually, when you really think about it this way, kids are in the in-between, just dangling. They're all just hanging. Just, I mean, and some people be like, oh, just hanging is cool. Nah, you're hanging by a thread. It's not cool, fam. It's bad. Where are we going? We don't know. We're not on the ground, but we're not really in the air. We're just here. So that means I could either go up or I could slam down and be dead. Not in the best place, okay? Not in the best place. So basically, kids are just hanging. They're in the in-between stage. They're in the stage between I was a kid and I didn't know what I knew, what I thought I knew, to I'm about to be an adult. And I think I know where I want to go or where I know as an adult, but I don't really know yet. But now I'm starting to understand the shit I've been experiencing and what I'm actually around. And I think I hate my parents. And it's their fault. Kids are literally in the in-between stage. Teenagers are literally, not kids. Teenagers are literally in the in-between stage of where they're trying to conceptualize and make sense out of reality. They're no longer in the fantasy world of being a child. Also, I just have to throw this out here. Some kids have never really been in the fantasy area of being a child because that's not what they had the opportunity to be. They always had to be older than what they physiologically were. So let's give grace because the dynamics get deep and get specific for each person. So what I'm talking about is just more general, right? But if you've had a childhood, when you get to adolescence, it's no more rainbows, butterflies, okay? Some of these reality situations, you start to make sense of things because, again, your brain is still developing. And so it's developing into a stage where you have a little bit more awareness about what is going on around you. And the world, even, right? Again, I have to throw a blurb in here. Some of us as kids, we have always had a heightened awareness, which I'm going to end up talking about what that is. And that would be connected to what I was saying when I said, I'm a kid and I'm angry because you're angry and I'm sad because you're sad. And I don't, right? So I'm going to talk about what that actually is. It's two possibilities, actually, right? So as adults, we forget this. But, like, the easiest thing is to think about that. Like, your kid as a teenager is in the in-between stage. That stage is tumultuous, full of stress, physically on the body in some ways, and mentally and emotionally. And it is just a roller coaster, right? And some of us are just waiting for someone to just tell us what to do, actually. Like, there's a lot of emphasis on guidance there. And then many of us don't get any guidance. Or we're guided to some dumb shit. All right, so we need a lot of guidance. We need a lot of emotional connection at that time. We need a lot. Oreo, don't do that. I'm sorry, I have dogs I'm talking about. Hey. All right. So yeah, we need a lot of that in that space. And so if you think about it like that, then you know for sure being a teenager is stressful as shite. There's no way. There's no way it couldn't be. Now, there's ways that it could be better for us, all of us. There are people who are teenagers and they had great time, right? And so there's some fundamental things that is really needed, right? It's a space of, like, allowing them to be able to trust themselves and make their decisions, but guiding them to know, like, you are source, right? You are powerful. What you choose is what you're going to get, right? So choose wisely. Here, look at all your options, not just one. Here, learn how to manage stress, right? Like, okay, let's just break this down. And this is where it is. Yes, let's process our emotions, but also let's use logic at the same time. Let's bring them together. The emotional and the reasonable mind, right? Let's activate what really being wise is, which is bringing emotions and logic together to make a decision, not one over the other, right? Kids who have had those experiences can have a way more better connection with themselves and their emotions and feel good enough to trust themselves to make their own decisions. Really good decisions, right? decisions where they see themselves in the end of that decision. Now I just see what I want to do, but I didn't foresee the end, and now it's boo boo on my lap. Yeah, right. So Adolescence speaks on everything that I'm literally talking about. Like, this is what I extracted from the show, which is why I wanted to talk about Adolescence. And there's a part in the show that I think even speaks on love and vulnerability, and how love and vulnerability really go together. You know, at some point for all of us, we all want love, but we really don't understand, and we underestimate or don't even acknowledge the power of being vulnerable. That's actually a part of good, healthy love, is to be vulnerable. Because without vulnerability, one of the biggest things they always talk about, the foundation of a relationship, is communication. Well, if you cannot be vulnerable, your communication is stunted. You're not going to talk about certain things. You're not going to open up. And you're not going to get emotional fulfillment and certain needs met emotionally, because you are not allowing yourself to get them. You are not allowing yourself to feel them. You are not allowing yourself to put it out there. Vulnerability allows that. And so the lack of vulnerability that many of us have in relationships with our parents, with our children, with our partners, really is killing us, man. It's killing us, because it creates, a lot of times, the lack of vulnerability is a part of this created judgment, or this created shame, or this idea of shame and judgment in our heads, and just this whole negative ball of spiraling boo-boo, literally, for real, just spiraling dung. All right? Yeah. And it causes a further and further and further gap and detachment and a disconnection. Excuse me, I gotta fix this thing. A disconnection from self, a disconnection from our own emotions, and a disconnection from others. And when we have all those disconnections, it shit gets scary, creepy, serious. Not hilarious. For real. It's real dark out there. Dark, gloomy, and doomy, man. Like, we talking about the mist is here and we don't even know what's in it type of dark, okay? I mean, it's dark and it's misty. I don't know where I'm going, especially as a teenager. And that, to me, when I watched the show, is what came up, is what happened, is what was going on with the son. There was a disturbance with, and I'm not going to give too much. One of the main characters is a boy, and I'm a reference him to the son. There was a disturbance going on. But he wasn't the only one who had some forms of a disturbance. He was just one of the main ones that, a part of that disturbance, again, created a decision where he didn't see himself in the end. And he didn't even see anyone else and how it would impact anyone else in the end. Just based on that disconnect from his own emotions, himself, other people, and kind of like the world. It was just this huge distortion going on. Just something was just brewing. And it was like, how did I not see this? How did I not know? How did I not see this? Love and vulnerability. But also, this touches on time, quality moments, not the social construct of time, but just creating space and effort with your child, one-to-one. You know, sometimes we have tons of siblings. You know, we have siblings. We have one sibling, two siblings, three siblings. And sometimes parents, to maximize time, the social construct of it, we try to bring them all together when we're spending time with them without the other parent. But to be honest with you, one-to-one time is really most definitely appreciated if your kid never says it. Because, and of course, what happens in that one-on-one time makes a difference. Like, if you're judging your kid and there's a lot of parenting of the consequences and the talking about what you want them to do during, then they might not appreciate that time so much. Because when I'm talking about one-on-one time, quality time, I'm talking about, well, quality time to me, I'm talking about creating one-to-one with your kid, each of them at certain different times, because each child is different. They're all individuals, and that one-to-one really allows them to feel that TLC a lot more. But when I'm talking about that one-to-one time, I'm talking about allowing that one-to-one time to be a time of love and vulnerability with your child, which what I extracted from adolescence wasn't necessarily there. That quality time without the judgment, without the parenting. Well, you need to do, okay. How many times are you going to say it? And how many times are you going to say it, but we're going to say it with the absence of what a kid wants to also feel, which is feelings, love, vulnerable, open conversation, understood, not judged. The show was absolutely amazing. And to segue back really quickly of what I was saying, when I was a kid, I was just feeling everything. That speaks on being an empath or an HSP, which is a highly sensitive person. A highly sensitive person is not the same as an empath. It's like you have people here who, they just feel the waves of emotions, like they feel their own emotions. They can understand other people's emotions, but they're here. And then you have highly sensitive people where they're more sensitive to other people's emotions. They still have their own. And then you have empaths who are of the highest sensitivity, because what happens with an empath is they literally can absorb other people's emotions and sometimes absorb these emotions through food, the emotions of animals. And that's what creates it to be like really hard for empaths to kind of understand their own emotions, because they're absorbing so many other people's. They have empathy beyond empathy, basically. And so there's a lot of struggle with weighing things out, because you're always constantly feeling stuff, and it can feel like it's yours, but it's actually others. And then you have to figure out, well, what is mine, what is not. And it's not like you can turn it off and on. It's just on. It's just there, right? It's a superpower. So you want to be a superhero, be careful what you ask for, because it can, superheroes also have to learn how to wield their gift. So that's what an empath is. And so that's what I was speaking on for myself personally when I was growing up, was I never knew that that's what I was. And it wasn't literally until past year that I accepted that I've always been an empath. And it has created so much understanding of so many experiences, but I've also felt like I was losing my mind multiple times. So wielding a gift and being able to master it and can be a journey in itself of getting back to ourselves, right? But me getting back to me allowed me to understand that that's what I am. That's what I have. That's one of the things I have, is this empath, right? Or I'm empathic, and trying to figure out how to balance that, work with that, where I don't feel like I'm going crazy. And I say this to say, you may have children who are also empaths. And this is why the love and the vulnerability and that one-to-one is so important, right? Because yes, an empath is a powerful ability, but it can turn dark when there's a lot of heaviness and a lot of lack of. And that can be very scary, because empaths have the ability to feel your emotions way more deeply sometimes before you're even able to conceptualize it. So it can be really scary if an empath is really getting into a dark space. And this just really plays on, one of the other videos that I'm going to drop this will be for Sunday, April 13th. The first conversation was on love, self-love, loving others, unconditionality. This kind of connects, which is why I'm going to drop it the following weekend. I don't know what date that it's April, Sunday, 20 something. I think it's like the 20th, 21st or something. I don't know. I might be calculating that wrong. But just know it's going to be the following Sunday after April 13th. They connect So if you watched one, I would highly recommend to watch the other. I try not to make the videos too long, but listen, I gotta say what's supposed to come out. And also, if you have any questions or concerns, drop a comment, okay? Be respectful, okay? And also like and subscribe. I appreciate your support always. This is the only reason I'm doing this, is to kind of help and be able to guide other people. But also it's helpful for me too. It's helpful on my journey too, so I can't say that's the only reason I'm doing it. Please definitely check out Adolescence on Netflix. I do not have a Netflix deal, but I do, if I find like a show or something that I think is really powerful and it plays on even like things that allow us to become more open and get back to ourselves, if we want to be open when we're watching it and not judgmental when we're watching it, I will bring it up on my channel, because Adolescence inspired me to have this conversation. So shout outs to Netflix and the creators of the show. I like the show, even if it was sad and heavy. A lot of times the best movies and shows have some truth of sadness and heaviness and human emotion in it. So I appreciate it. Of course, I hope that you choose to continue to get back to you, because I will be continuing to get back to me. And having a wonderful, abundant week ahead with much love. Bye.